Hello everyone. Let me just turn the music down. And welcome to another day of NGS action. We're gonna have a back-to-back series today, but first of all, we're starting with Division E Habitual Line Steppers versus Crimson Cyber Squad. Now, both of these teams, not only have they played already, but I was actually the one to cast both of their games. So it is going to be interesting. This is the first time this season where it's two teams that I've known, that I've seen. And now if we look at the standings, Crimson Cyber Squad, they did get dominated by 30 seconds to Mosh. And then the Habitual Line Steppers won 2-1 against Rage. It was a pretty close series. And one other thing I did want to mention is that CCS, while they did lose and it was a 2-0, the map games were pretty close overall against 30 seconds to Mosh. But with that being said, there's not too much to say before going in. I think both the teams are pretty much ready, so I'm just going to quickly tell you about the map picks and bans. So, the coin toss was won by HLS, and they decided to take map pick. They banned away Battlefield of Eternity and Braxis Holdout, while the Crimson Cyber Squad banned away Towers of Doom and Volskaya Foundries. So, and then the map that was picked was Alterac Pass. Now, Alterac Pass, definitely one of those larger maps, definitely one of those more fun maps, because I'll be honest, I'm always a fan whenever the map kind of forces objectives on all sides of the map at the exact same time. And it makes it more exciting because you have like the boss in the top lane, the boss in the bottom lane, and doesn't really matter right now anyway because we are heading into draft momentarily. All right, so we are here in the draft between Habitual Line Steppers and Crimson Cyber Squad. And I like that both these two teams have a very easily I don't even know if this is the word acronymable name. HLS and CCS. But now the first ban is going to come through from Crimson Cyber Squad, banning away the Sergeant Hammer. It has always been a draft breaker, and it's very good on Alterac Pass as well. It really increases the defense that you can bring out whenever someone's going for that prisoner camp. Able to just kind of constantly deal DPS over the wall. It's not fun to play into, let's just put it that way, so good first ban. But this one's a little bit more interesting. It is going to be Mei banned away by HLS. And Mei also can interrupt over on the edges. And then the other part of Mei that I think is really powerful on Alterac Pass is that both her heroic abilities are very good in an enclosed area, and all those little fighting spots near the prisoner camps are all very enclosed, tight corridors, and Mei excels at team fights in that. Now CCS also going to ban away the Stukov. Lurking Arm, awful ability. Stukov is my biggest tilt hero. I don't like playing against it in my Storm League. I don't like playing against it back when I did play in NGS. So glad to see it's gone. It is fun to watch though. It has a lot of really nice combos. But now Chromie also going to get banned away by HLS, which does remove another one of those long range poke heroes. With that being said, It is going to be first pick going over to CCS. And they're going to go with the Dahaka. And Dahaka, I mean, I don't think I need to tell anyone. Very powerful hero. Very good at playing cross map. And especially on a map like Alterac Pass, there is a lot of distance between the top lane and the bottom lane. So if there's a cross map play going on, Dahaka is going to be there first. And now, waiting on the next two picks. Who are they going to match into the offlane? That's what I'm kind of wondering with this. Or there may be some picks they decide they value more. And it's going to be the double archer setup with Sylvanas for Boomer APM and Tyrande for Turtwig. And Tyrande, I have noticed that in the right hands, it's not only an incredibly powerful healer, it's also an incredibly powerful DPS, while also being an incredibly powerful healer. It does take a bit of team coordination, and it does take a lot of skill. I think that Tyrande is one of those healers that performs better when there's a skill gap. Like, if you're better than your opponent mechanically, you can get a lot more out of Tyrande, because you do need to hit those skill shots. You do need to position properly to get max value. And that can be difficult, especially in a competitive environment. Now, Tunley and Kotunas going to lock in Johanna and Falstad. Two very powerful heroes as well. And Falstad with another global as well. I'm curious what kind of build Falstad's going to go, because I think on a map like this, you could go with either the auto attack build or the Hammerang and still be relatively happy with the build. It really depends on what they want to do with the rest of the draft and kind of like what the enemy team comp looks like. But now Anduin and Stitches going to be the next two bans. Stitches, I think, very commonly a tilt hero for a lot of teams. And on Alterac Pass, it's pretty easy to, at the very least, threaten the hook over the wall. You won't necessarily always get it, but it's something that they're always going to have to pay attention to, especially when going for the camps. Now, they still need an offlaner and tank on the side of HLS, and potentially a flex, and it's going to be the flex and offlane. Tracer locked in for no more heroes. That's going to be really interesting to watch. I think this does kind of push Kotunas a bit more towards the auto attack build. By no means is it necessary, but could definitely be an option. And Peldor going to be locking in the Sonya. Very strong team fight power. Only issue I'm kind of seeing with HLS right now is they are a little bit on the squishier side. And the big main tank Johanna, the one that's really good at backing up the backline, is already been taken by CCS. I think something like a Muradin potentially, or maybe even a Diablo, just something that's really tanky, would be very useful for HLS. As Orion going to lock in the Junkrat, and Code Monkey going to go with the Brightwing. 3 global abilities on CCS on a massive map like Alterac Pass. That's kind of crazy. But Vern going to go with Garrosh. Not one of the two that I mentioned, but is also absolutely a beefcake. And especially into the enemy team composition, it does rely a little bit more on burst damage. Junkrat and Falstad, they're not as good in terms of consistent DPS when compared to something, well, again, like the Sylvanas that Boomer's playing, or the Vala, or Raynor, Tychus, any kind of regular auto attacker. Well, that being said, the drafts are done, and we're going into game number 1. All right, and we are loaded in. I was just waiting for it to fully go in. But here we are. It's map number 1, Alterac Pass, between Habitual Line Steppers and Crimson Cyber Squad. And Crimson Cyber Squad's composition is very interesting for this map. Typically, you'll see 1, maybe 2 global heroes, but they have 3 on their side. And it does look like the Frequent Flyer is going to be the first talent over on Kotunas. And because of that, it is going to be a little bit easier dealing with the Tracer. Tracer, very renowned for being good at dodging skill shot. It's incredibly hard to land a proper skill shot onto a Tracer. However, they do still have some options. The Blessed Shield, while not good as a first target, if it bounces and hits the Tracer, could be someone they could easily blow up. But right now, we have an interesting play coming out from HLS. They are moving with the Sylvanas to the top lane and just using the classic Black Arrow level 1 strategy. Now, they are going to be getting met by CCS, but they've already taken the cannon tower. And, in fact, they're going to be able to throw back Xtrix, but it is just the Hawk going to be safe. The Lunar Flare going to prevent any kind of follow-up. Vern's going to take half the HP in terms of poke, but they do have the drag, and it is going to be onto Boomer, and Boomer going to get taken down. First Blood going the way of Xtrix. So, First Blood traded for the first cannon tower. Not even like the full fort or anything, but still definitely in favor of CCS. They're a bit late to come over to the bot side, but they still have the XP lead just from that First Blood. Interestingly enough, it's going to be Orion sent to the bot lane to deal with Pelder. At least for now, they may change their lane states later on. And it's going to be Tunley staying over in the mid lane. Now, Code Monkey and Kotunos have already started on the siege camps, while Xtrix is going to be matching the Tracer over in the top side. And Nowhere Hero is definitely going to be struggling a little bit until the objectives start spawning. I think this is one of those maps where Tracer doesn't really get to do much too early. But once the camp starts spawning, once there's something to be moving around the map for, that's when the Tracer is really going to come into play for No More Heroes. Now, the siege camp finished off, and Peldor already starting on the other one as well. Almost done with that one. As Turtwig going to be holding the mid lane for the side of HLS. Not going to be able to push it out completely, but should be able to pick up all of the soak. But now Vern looking for... Oh, I always forget what this one is. The Groundbreaker and the Wrecking Ball. Yeah, there we go. One day I'll learn Garrosh. But today's not that day, it seems. But regardless, Vern and Turtwig going to be shutting out the mid lane, and now they also have the Bruiser camp coming in. Pelder now going to go top, going to match into Xtrix, as level 4s have been hit by both these two teams. And there's a little bit of a push happening over to the bot side. It shouldn't be too big right now. It's just Kotunos and Orion. Mostly just the little grenades getting tossed out. They do have the Concussion Mine onto Boomer APM, but with Haunting Wave, we'll be able to get away pretty easily. But now Kotunos walking into Vern. Might not be in a good spot, and Vern is going to be hit and tossed backwards. But no, yes, it will. The Wrecking Ball will come through, but now the blind onto 3. They have the jump. No More Heroes going to be able to get that kill. So it's a 1-for-1 now for the entire game, but 1-for-0 in that play. Good rotation. Vern able to get the Wrecking Ball and was smart and patient by sitting on the mount and not just trying to land the Groundbreaker first. Now Lunar Flare just going to go wide, and they're getting a lot of value over in this mid lane. Xtrix going to move in with the drag, but just immediately going to get Wrecking Balled away by Vern. But that's going to be the gate gone, and that's going to be the bottom cannon tower gone. So a little bit of XP going over towards the Habitual line support, as Orion's going to get a decent amount of poke done onto them. About half HP, but no more threat to push them in. Unfortunately, won't be able to get the little health orb. But now the camps have spawned. They are spawned on the top side. So this is not them contesting for it. It's just Tunley trying to get back into the lane. Vern's trying to prevent the rotation, but Tunley will be able to just scoot on by. Now the siege camp, Code Monkey and Kotunos going to be able to secure that once again for Crimson Cyber Squad. And they are winning a little bit on the pacing in terms of getting those neutral camps. But now Vern going to have to back away. They got a little bit more damage towards this top cannon tower, and Boomer APM might be getting chased, but is already mounted, will be okay. Peldor once again just finishing off the siege camp, as the side of CCS is looking to start onto this camp. Now Vern is there to defend, and with the Bruiser camp, or the siege camp finished off, Peldor's going to be making their way over to hold the mid lane, so the rest of the HLS squad can come and defend. But now Vern is actually a little bit far forward. The drag not going to land, but the Wrecking Ball does throw Xtrix back in. Gonna dodge away the Lunar Flare. Gonna get hit by the Groundbreaker, though. And is just trying to walk away. Tunley trying to pull them away, but into the fray used onto Pelder. So Pelder's now in the midst of things. No More Heroes coming in from the top. But during all that, Code Monkey actually got the camp. It is 3v4, so they are going to have to back away. Only able to get 5 seconds chance. And in fact, it's 3v5. Boomer APM dealing so much damage, going in onto Code Monkey, and Code Monkey is gone. Now Tunley's stuck in the middle of everyone. There's nowhere to go, as HLS able to get 3 kills for themselves and only lose 5 seconds of cap time for it. And they're going to be able to make that back with interest. They have the siege camp pushing mid. They finished off the wall, and they were already at 10 seconds onto this prisoner camp. They should be able to get this first set going over their way. Now Boomer APM also just pushing out this top side. This top gate, or this top wall entirely, should be destroyed here. Now they are pinging onto this. They may want to contest, but there's not a lot of time. Kotuna is just trying to delay. 2 seconds, 1 second left. They're still able to sit on it. And it looks like they will be able to defend last second. It's going to be a bit difficult for them to continue this because when there's only 1.1 seconds left, it's quite easy to backdoor. You probably would want 2 people, one to kind of aggro onto these minions and the other one to actually do the channel itself. But Tunley is now sitting around the mid lane. And with his shield glare, we'll be able to prevent it from going over. Now, Kotunos and Code Monkey, once again, just going onto the siege camp. They were scouted, though. And Turtwig gonna try grabbing it. They don't have any way of preventing it, and that is going to be the camp going over to HLS. Vern might be looking for another play, but not gonna be able to land the... I keep forgetting. The Groundbreaker, yes. I don't know why. It's always either Groundbreaker or Earth Shatter in my head, and I can't remember which. I think I've done every combination of those 4 words at this point. But level 10s are hit. The heroic abilities are there for HLS, and they have the first set of the cavalry coming here. And this should be a pretty good push for them. They're gonna clear away this siege camp, which will buy a little bit of time over towards the mid lane. But with these level 10s still not there for CCS, they'll have a little bit of time where they can push with that advantage. I don't know if they'll be able to start any fight, just because level 10 is very close for them now. In fact, we'll be able to get it just as the mid lane cavalry does arrive. But now they're going to throw the tank back into the back line. But they do have Iron Skin. They're going to be completely okay. Tunley, not too worried about it. And with the Contempt, gonna just clear away the last of the minions. They're not getting too much damage over this. But now the Blessed Shield does come through. Same with the Pulse Bomb. But Tunley no longer has the Iron Skin, and it's just going to get burst. Kotunos trying to run away, but with the Groundbreaker, they're able to get onto 1. But the Gust will prevent any kind of follow-up. It's a 1-4-0. With the Black Arrows, they can continue this push. Extrix coming in from the side. Will be getting the Isolate. But Turtwig gonna get saved with Into the Fray coming out from Burn 15. And they're trying to hit, and Wrecking Ball just used to pull Extrix away from the fort. And the first fort is going to go over to HLS. And Peldor also has first move in the bot lane. Orion's already here to defend, so not going to be able to get too much with that. But No More Heroes is here looking at Orion. And with the Concussion Mine, we'll be able to get back to safety. But the siege camp, once again, Kotunos and Code Monkey, they're both going to be able to get it. But now Orion's getting thrown into the back line and gets absolutely blown up by the trio. 6-1 is the kill score, and level 13 talents are quite close for HLS. And once they get that, they may be able to just muscle their way through and take this bottom fort as well. A drag does land into the top, but it's Extrix versus Boomer. Not going to be able to do too much, but Haunting Wave has been used. The second charge as well. Phase Shift coming in from Code Monkey. But no aggressive play is going to be able to come through here. Now Tunley just trying to delay with the shield glares. And kind of clearing out the waves as well. Condemn not going to land on Vern either. But they did get a little bit of damage onto this bottom fort. And every little bit of damage does add up in the end. Extrix going to try clearing out this mid lane. There is a pretty big wave of the siege minions over there. But now the Riptire got to be coming through. Vern taking down a half HP. Blessed Shield was also used in that exchange, but no one's going to go down, and Vern's going to heal back up to full. They do have the Polymorph, and now Vern looking to throw Ryan, and Ryan will get thrown back. But now the Condemned comes through. The Pulse Bomb is going to come through as well, but the Phase Shift actually canceled. And the Cleanse was just a little bit too late there as well, but that's going to be Orion going down, getting picked off once again by Vern. They almost saved Orion, but just a little bit not enough. And HLS are going to look to continue their aggression. Lunar Flare lands on a Code Monkey. Polymorph as well onto Vern. No More Heroes taking a lot of damage from the fort, actually. About a quarter of HP left. Wow, yeah, quite a bit more. But the Black Arrows will be more than enough. They will secure this bottom fort. And actually, at some point during all that, the top fort also went down in favor of HLS. So they have 3 pushing lanes now, including 1 across the map, which is really big. It's so much harder to play into that. Level 13s are now hit by CCS, so the talent advantage is gone for the next little bit. So they could try and fight for this. Now the blind is going to land on Vern, but with the Wrecking Ball just going to pull Tunley away. And the drag not going to land, but is a difficult target, and that was the Isolate. Getting used as well. Riptire, 4 damage. Vern at half HP, but is getting healed up. Leap in the backline. Peldor is getting stunned, but is completely okay. Everyone's silenced with the Wailing Arrow, and that's going to be 1 getting taken down. Tunley's gone. Extrix looks like they're going to fall. The Phase Shift is not going to come out in time. Peldor going to get tossed in with the Enter the Fray. But that's going to be another teamfight victory for HLS. 2-0, and they get the camp once again. They should be able to finish this channel now. 10 seconds. And how much can they get on their second wave of cavalry? But they're going to clear away this bot lane as well. And they're just trying to get their waves pushed in. This siege camp over in the mid lane for CCS is their one saving grace. They've been able to consistently grab these camps. But unfortunately, they are falling behind in tempo on the other parts of the map. Now, Kotunos has a big wave to grab. And with this passive, we'll get actually a couple of attack damage from it. But will it be enough to defend against this next set of cavalry? And they're going to have this set coming out right now with the siege camp. The siege camp is going to be a little bit further behind. However, they should be able to crash with the cavalry, at least at some point. Now, Peldor already dashing in. Going to get polymorphed and actually poked down a little bit low. Half HP, but will just get healed up by Turtwig. And now they're just absolutely forcing onto this. Tunley's going to be in the backline, but they have Kotunos. The Gus gonna throw Vern and Pelder in the backline, but that's the front line. They don't mind being there. The drag lens as well, but they just don't have the DPS. Vern is too tanky. Level 16 talents are there as well for HLS, so they are fighting this with a talent advantage. They finished off the wall. They still have their camp, and now they're looking for more. Vern is in the backline. Code Monkey gonna get sent up. Just a couple more hits, and no more heroes will be able to finish that off. Black Arrow also used onto this keep, so this is a pretty safe dive. And they throw Extrix into the backline, so that's going to be 3-0 now. Tully going to get stunned by the Lunar Flare and will get finished off. And they still have the cavalry pushing in the other two lanes where the keeps are still alive. They're going to clear away this wall. They're going to start clearing away this keep. And HLS, they're just putting on an absolute clinic. They're putting on a fantastic showing. Now, some of them have respawned already. Kotunos is back. And it's going to be 5 more seconds. Code Monkey will be back as well. But that's going to be 2 keeps gone. The bot wall pretty much done as well. So they could look to end. It's level 18 to 15. They have a talent tier advantage. Most of their ultimates are going to be coming back up. And Vern is just playing defenders, trying to prevent all of CCS from walking up to this. And now no more heroes. Also on Orion with the pulse bomb going to lower the HP. But now Vern actually getting taken down quite low, but will get healed back up. Turtwig is in the front line, but they don't have good stuns for it. They're going to be able to defend for now, so CCS is still alive. But now the third and final keep, is under attack. The Black Arrow is going to get utilized here. Riptire just for wave clear. And now Vern's getting pretty low. The Condemn as well into the backline. Just a couple more autos and will get taken down. Peldor already used the leap. No more escape available. Trying to spin to win as well. As Townley will land the Condemn. They aren't even talents. It's 4v5. They have the slow. Pelder just getting taken down slowly, but they just don't have the DPS. Now Kotunos looking for the play, but the Wailing Arrow into the backline. Able to take down Kotunos, and now Townley is in a very bad spot. Code Monkey gonna get finished off as well. Exturks, Breaststalkers to the backline, but the play is already over. And now Townley gonna follow. That's gonna be 3-1 now for HLS, and Orion not gonna get hit by the Lunar Flare, but Boomerang PM is still chasing on Orion and will be able to force them away. So they could look to end once again, or they could just try and take this third and final keep. It will make things a lot easier for them as the Isolate also goes wide from Exturks. A very difficult position for them to be in. The drag does land onto Peldor, but there's no damage to follow up. It's basically just used as a delaying tactic. Most of the other team members will be back up soon, but the third keep is gone. And there are basically 3 massive waves already here. A 4th one coming in from bot lane. And now they're looking to end the game. And now Pelder with the leap going into the backline. And the Orion gonna get taken down. The pulse bomb from No More Heroes dealing so much damage, getting so much value from that leap. And now Tunley tries to get the Blessed Shield. Does land onto 3, but there's just no more follow-up. There's just no more DPS. It does look like that's going to be game number 1. They're trying to defend, though. They may still be able to try, but the Lunar Flare lands on auto 3, and there's the cleanse. But it doesn't matter. HLS take game number 1. And HLS played incredibly cleanly in this game. Only 2 deaths, 18-2 as the final kill score. And I have to give them a lot of credit. They fought really well in team fights. Vern was able to get so many picks over in the early game. And then Boomerang PM actually managed to escape in quite a few situations where they finally did send numbers over to take them down. I think CCS can definitely still play better than what they showed in game 1, or at least how it looked, because this was a little bit of a stomp, but that's just how these kinds of maps go. All Track Pass is pretty snowbally as well. Pun not intended. But we'll see how they can perform in game number 2. Now, we're going to go to a short little break, but when we come back, that's exactly what we're going to get. HLS versus CCS game 2. Don't go anywhere. Game number 2, Habitual Line Steppers versus Crimson Cyber Squad. And it is Infernal Shrines. Crimson Cyber Squad decided on this map. And Blades is going to be the first ban for HLS. Sergeant Hammer once again going to get banned away by CCS. And Infernal Shrines is a pretty fun map. I personally really enjoy it. I think the objective is really fun to fight around and just fun to go over. Because there's a couple strategies you can employ. If you have full control over the objective, that still isn't always enough to win it for you. Because if there's people on the other side that are able to just deal damage over the wall, kind of like the Sergeant Hammer would be able to, you could still end up losing that Punisher. And it's also an objective that kind of punishes, aptly named, I guess, the players themselves rather than the structures. So it's a very unique kind of boss, but very interesting to follow. Now Stukov going to get banned away by HLS, and Dahaka going to get banned by CCS. So Stukov going to get banned away by the opposite end, and Xterk's not going to be playing Dahaka this time, going to choose to ban it away. They do have first pick on the side of HLS, so I guess that does make a little bit of sense. It's a very powerful hero. I don't think anyone ever really wants to play into it. But now moving forward, what is going to be the first pick? It's going to be the Chromie, and Chromie was banned in game number 1. Going to be picked up by Boomer APM in game number 2, and I've been seeing Chromie across every single division. Chromie is incredibly powerful right now, and not even including the fact that the talent tiers are earlier, but just the absolute monster that Chromie is. The DPS, the control, just everything about Chromie is very strong right now. And now CCS going to lock in Anduin for Code Monkey and Muradin for Tunley. So they're going to choose to go away from the Joanna. They want to use the Light Bomb combo with the Dwarf Toss. It's a pretty simple one, but always effective. And that should be their main teamfight engaged tool, at least from what they've picked so far. They could always follow it up with a Leoric Entomb, a Sonya Leap, just there's a lot of options still available for them if they do desire. Now Turtwig going to lock in the Tyrande again, and Vern going to lock in the Garrosh yet again. It worked for them in game 1, and it worked extremely well for them in game 1. So not surprising to see that they're going to pick it up for game number 2. Now one other thing I didn't really mention about Chromie is I was talking earlier about those heroes that can kill the skeletons over the wall and start getting the kills for the Punisher. And Chromie is definitely one of them, and Dragon's Breath especially can just absolutely destroy like an entire area worth of skeletons with every cast. It deals so much damage. I think it doesn't quite one-shot them, but it gets very close to. So if there's any kind of like light AoE damage, Boomer APM could definitely start stealing those skeletons. Now Samuro going to get banned away by CCS. Very annoying hero to play into, especially on larger maps like Infernal Shrines. The taller the map is, the more value you can get out of that Samuro. And Jaina going to be the final ban for this game for HLS. And Sonya going to be immediately locked in by Xterk. So it does seem like they want to follow up the Light Bomb combo with the Leap. Or potentially it could just be giving more options for Code Monkey, because you can always Light Bomb the Sonya herself as well. The Leap to get the first stun, and then the Light Bomb to have the follow-up. And Taika is going to get locked in for Kotunas. Also very good at clearing away the skeletons on the objective. And with the Odin, is very good at sieging later on as well. And that's important on Infernal Shrines. Just because someone like Taika, you're not going to be getting too much push value out of the Punisher itself. The Punisher is meant to just zone away the enemy so they can't stop you from damaging their buildings. So you need someone who can have a lot of DPS, a lot of siege value, and Taika's is really up there for that. But now Greymane for No More Heroes and Leoric for Peldor. So two very solid picks for them as well. Habitual Line Steppers have a pretty standard draft. Same with CCS. None of them are really picking anything out of left field. And Hanzo also still pretty standard. Gonna be the last pick for Orion. One thing I do like with the CCS squad for game 2 is they have a lot more stuns than Lockdown. They have Sonya, Muradin, Ando, and Hanzo. Taika's not so much, but only not having a stun on your main DPS, I think that's okay. I do still think it's an even draft, don't get me wrong, but I am liking CCS draft a lot more in game 2 than in game number 1. let's get into game number 2. And we are in Alterac Pass, game number 2 between Habitual Line Steppers and Crimson Cyber Squad. Now, Habitual Line Steppers, they did not get the domination in week number 1, but CCS did get dominated in week 1. So this could be a good opportunity for them to solidify their lead and have 8 points in just 2 games if HLS are able to win it. But CCS is definitely going to try to prevent that. They want to get their own first victory on the board for Division E. And Division E is a double round robin, so they will face off against HLS again later this season. As now both teams going to be walking over to the mid lane. Just a little bit of a left tap for Orion. I love that sound effect, by the way. I've never heard that before, and I'm already in love with it. But neither side really pushing forward. Peldor in the Janitor Leoric skin. Going to be moving forward, but now the Orion almost caught out, but with a leap of faith will be okay. Dragon's Breath dealing damage over to the back line, but not too much going back and forth. Xtrix is just going to start clearing away this top side. As now the entire squad of HLS just going to be roaming forward. Varn looking for the play, but Kotanos is going to be able to dash away, but Tunley going to get hit with the Dragon's Breath, just dealing so much damage to the backline during that entire time. Now they're all going to be okay. No one's going to go down, but first move is going to be given over to HLS. But Tunley able to get their time to actually collect both the health orbs. Most of HLS was first, but Tunley was still faster than all of them. Now they're scouting the bush. They see Vern. They're going to cancel the jump. The Groundbreaker not going to land. And they're just kind of dealing poke back and forth onto Vern. So neither side really has too much of an advantage quite yet. First Blood not going to go through yet, as Peldor is going to be double soaking, going between the top and mid lane. And that's definitely an advantage that the Leoric has over the Sonya. Sonya's not quite as good at pushing in waves and just soaking, especially when you're trying to double soak. But now the siege camp is getting taken down, and they have scouted it. They could try to fight for this. Vern looking for the play, going to use the Groundbreaker, not going to use the Wrecking Ball right away. But now Orion going to get tossed over the wall, but able to jump right back. Leap of Faith going to get utilized to keep Tunley okay. But do they want to keep fighting? Orion is out of mana. The Groundbreaker is going to land on the Code Mike, and they do have the Chastise on Turtwig, but no further follow-up. Vern's just slowly but surely getting taken low. But with the healing coming out from behind, will it be okay? Now Tunley going to get hit by the Dragon's Breath. No one is still going down, but they're finally able to pressure, and now Vern starting to get quite low and will get taken down. Kotunos almost finished off by number of heroes, but able to get it with just a little bit of HP. Fully calculated by Kotunos as First Blood goes the way of CCS. And on top of that, they managed to get the siege camp for themselves. Now, during all this, the mid lane is getting shoved in by the siege camp from HLS, but that was the one that's kind of spawns over towards their side. There's going to be 3 members just shoving it away, so they're not going to get too much value out of it. But the next shrine is spawning. The next shrine, I say the first shrine, is going to be coming up soon. And now, before that does come through, they may want to take their siege camp, and it looks like Kotunos is going to start it and just solo it for now. Tunley just going to be sitting in the brush as the Bruiser camp gets finished off by HLS. And the Bruiser camp, definitely the more powerful of the two. And the shrine is active before the siege camp gets finished off. Now Xtrix gonna get hit by the Dragon's Breath, gonna dodge away on the Lunar Flare though, so not too much damage, gonna be going back and forth. 4 stacks onto the scatter shot, but Vern is getting hit quite low, but no one's there to follow up onto the Wrecking Ball against Code Monkey. Now Xtrix is starting to walk forward. They aren't even talent tiers. There's a level up for HLS for now. Chastise not going to land onto anyone either. The Ancient Spear goes on a Vern, not the target you want. As both sides are now level 6. Still the same talent tier. No talents till level 7. And right now the Skeleton race is definitely favoring HLS. And that's definitely one of those benefits of having the Dragon's Breath. But now Vern gets taken out quite low. Xtrix going to get tossed away with the Wrecking Ball. And that's going to give a little bit of pressure over to CCS. Vern has to back away for now. But Peldor going to get hit by the Chastise. They're trying to DPS onto it. But Kotunos going to get taken out solo. Same with Xtrix. The Sandblast almost enough damage to finish off the kill. As it looks like HLS should be able to just secure this. They managed to win just by purely last hitting the skeletons just a little bit better. Now they're going to start walking up. They have the Mortar Punisher mid. It's still an early game Punisher, so it's not going to be too powerful. And in fact, there's going to be a lot of soak missed because of the Punisher drop. I don't think it actually matters, just an interesting little observation. They should be able to get a good chunk of this wall, if not all of it. The Punisher will be taken down now, and the mid wall will get finished off over by HLS. Now Tomley going to get thrown back and then jump back himself. So yeah, just someone tosses the dwarf and then the dwarf toss gets cast. That's basically the combo if you're the Merit in this game facing off against the Garrosh. And now Vern looking for a play. Not able to find anyone on the rotation. Still scouting. Does get Kojanos and Orion actually with the Groundbreaker. But no one there to follow up on the Lunar Flare. They are on the siege camp. But Vern just really being a menace to CCS right now. It's so hard to walk forward. Now the siege camp is going to go down. And in fact, the top wall also gets finished off by Peldor here. Possibly with the Bruiser camp while they were fighting for that objective. Now half a level lead currently for HLS. It's not too big quite yet, but if they're able to utilize the timings, especially the level 10, they could try growing it into something more. Now Tunley gonna get with the Groundbreaker and then the Dwarf Toss as well. But now No More Heroes maybe getting jumped on, and Vern actually getting taken out quite low, but it is 4v5. Peldor is here first. They have the Temporal Loop, and they're gonna get Kotu Nas, the Temporal Loop, the level 8. I always forget about that, but Boomer APM has that level 10, has that heroic ability, and was able to use that to take down the Tychus. And that's a big part of their DPS. Now they do have the Chastise landing on a 2 Tunley. Gonna get hit by the Groundbreaker. But no further follow-up with it. And with this Siege Camp, with this Dragon's Breath, and just the overall numbers advantage they have here as they throw Tunley into the back, the Leap of Faith will keep them okay. They actually would have gotten hit by the Lunar Flare if that Leap of Faith did not come through. So well used by Code Monkey now. The Groundbreaker gonna hit on a Tunley, but just gonna be used as poke. And that does seem to be mostly the end of this play. They should be able to clear out the siege camp from here on out. They have gotten onto No More Heroes, but Into the Fray gonna be used defensively to keep that Greymane alive. But that's all 3 walls getting taken down. Xtrix even is getting the forward pressured a little bit. And now HLS, they're also going to look to steal the siege camp. They have the level 10, so this is the opportunity for them to grow their lead. And they do have a full level lead now. Vern getting taken out quite low, actually, but not low enough to pressure. The siege camp going to get taken down, and a full level lead now for HLS. Level 10 is going to be getting hit soon by Crimson Cyber Squad. And this is actually the level 13, quote-unquote, talent for the Chromie. Boomer APM is 1 talent above CCS at the moment. Only for a short little while, though. Now, the next shrine is going to be over on the top side. The Bruiser Camp already getting taken down by No More Heroes and Turtwig. And Greymane is super fast as a hero when it comes to taking down these neutrals. Especially the high HP ones, like the Bruiser Camp. Now, this time it will be matched, though. Code Monkey and Kotu Nas, they're going to try and grab their own siege camp as well. But Peldor are able to get a little bit of a push during this. Because HLS right now, they're just kind of winning in tempo. They're able to move a little bit faster, and they're able to get their plays moving a little bit faster. Now, they've already started hitting onto these skeletons and already got 10 before CCS has even really started replying. Xtrix is on the way up as they are clearing away this Bruiser Camp. They need to fight here because I think anything short of a big teamfight victory, they're gonna lose this Punisher as well. Now, they have the wave pushed in, but it's already 30 skeletons. Do they even want to contest this? And it looks like they know that right now it'd be way too difficult. They don't have the vision. The full control is there for HLS. And if it's too difficult a play to do, sometimes it is smarter to just give up the play and just focus on the defense. Because a bad aggressive play will lead to you losing a lot more than if you just choose to defend. But now Tunley gonna get jumped on and gonna get thrown to the back as well. And the taunt. Do they have any follow-up stuns? They have the Temporal Loop. They have everything. They're able to burst the Muradin. So much damage and so much good crowd control. With the Temporal Loop, the Lunar Flare, and everything the Garrosh has. More than enough damage. So they're gonna be able to get themselves the top fort. But the Punisher is still quite healthy. It is the Arcane Punisher. One of the few that is quite good at taking down structures. and is working towards it, but they should be able to clear it away with not too much value gained from it. The top gate not even going to take too much damage, but because of that pressure, HLS is going to be able to take this mid lane fort. So now they have 2 forts to nothing. They're in a very good spot here as they continue to pressure forward. But they do decide to move backwards now. Pelder going to be clearing away the siege camp in the bot side while this is happening now. Tunley going to be going with the aggressive play, and they have the stun over top, but just nothing else to follow. Lunar Flare, but it's the Haymaker actually over for them now. Xrx going to get hit by the Temporal Loop, and no more heroes going to be able to jump upon to take down Xrx. And that was 45, but now Pelder's here. And look at that, they have a 2, 1, 2, 3. Odin is going to be coming out, but I don't think it matters. The taunt on it too, and they're all going to go down. Code Monkey riding away at 80 HP, trying to heal. Orion not super healthy either, but they will be able to back out. It's still a 3-0 in favor of HLS. And that play started looking good for CCS, but just a little bit not enough damage, and they're not able to follow through with it. Boomer APM and No More Heroes especially has so much DPS in their kit, and it makes it so hard for CCS to really accomplish anything there. They managed to get onto onto Turtwig, but not enough burst damage for them. Now this mid lane wall is going to get taken down as a result, and it's level 15 to level 12 now. Level 13 is close for CCS, and once they get it, they can fight on an even talent here, but even then not for too long. They're going to throw down Tunley, but Tunley going to get the light bomb as well, and now they have the stun. It's Vern. They're focusing onto the tank, but Pelder's in the backline has 4 in the entomb. They're trying to fight it out, but it's just not happening. Once again, HLS is going to be able to win that fight. They have level 13s now, but they did not have it at the start of the engage. No one goes down, but the pressure to get the siege camp was there for HLS, and now they're going to go back and grab their own. They only need just a little bit more XP, and they're going to have the talent advantage for themselves once again. And now all 3 lanes are naturally going to be pushing into CCS as well, so they're on more of a timer to try and make a play happen when the opportunity arises. Nexter's going to be shoving out the top lane, while the rest of the squad is kind of grouping mid, trying to shove that away. Level 16 is now hit by HLS. Vern, once again, just hiding in the brush. The Bruiser Camp is respawning in about 15 seconds, and that does look to be like the next play for HLS. Now Vern is running forward. They don't see him. They do see Orion, though. They get the Groundbreaker. Orion jumps over the wall, but the Lunar Flare's there to follow. Dragon's Breath as well. Not even needed. Vern just smacks them with the axe. That's going to be yet another pick for HLS. And they're going to steal this Bruiser Camp. And as soon as they're done that, the Shrine is going to be up. And they could look to push keep with this. Right now, they have a very large advantage. It's grown to almost 3 full levels. And HLS are just playing extremely well. And in fact, they're just going to send Vern and Turtwig to take this, while Pelder's just going to be taking their own Bruiser Camp at the same time. Now, the rest of the squad does group up now, so the skeletons are slowly but surely getting hit. But it does look like CCS, they're trying to just get something back in their favor. They're bringing all of their members to the bot lane, and they're just want to get this wall at the very least. Probably also want to push for the fort. And if they're able to get it, it will be pretty big for them to have at least one lane that is not passively getting pushed in. And that does seem to be like the play. And where did that happen? Vern just soloed Orion in the offlane in the meanwhile. Yeah, not too much to show there, but I'm surprised that happened. I'm guessing just got taunted in the middle of all of the siege camps and minions and all of that. Hanzo, not exactly the tankiest character in the game, but Tunley actually gets the reset canceled, and that's going to be pretty difficult for them without the Murden, and Pelder trying to prevent that. But we're going to be looking at this play over in the mid lane. The Frozen Punisher already taking down the mid keep, and they could look to end the game here already. They're in a good spot. Odin gonna get utilized by Kotunas, so they're gonna have that extra little bit of clear speed. As Tunley able to push Vern away, but the light bomb gonna come through, and the dragons are over top. That's actually really well timed. Now Pelder uses the entomb, but is stuck in the middle of everything. Orion gonna have enough DPS. Kotunas just autoing over the back during all of this. So it is a 1-for-1 for now. Peldor for Tunley, but now Vern able to throw Kotunas into the backline, and they're also able to get Code Monkey. Xrx jumps onto Boomer APM, but there's just a little bit too much damage from HLS. Kotunas gonna get finished off as well, and Xrx will be the final player going down as HLS dominate yet again. And there you have it. HLS, they've been looking so good so far this entire season. Like, I say entire season, it's only been 2 weeks, but they had a very strong victory in week 1. And this was a very strong victory here in week number 2 against CCS. And I gotta say, they definitely look a little bit of a cut above the rest. I'm gonna see if any of them are available for an interview, because we do have the time for it. But give me one moment. Yeah, I'll ping them, see if anyone's interested in doing that. Hopefully someone will come by. I'll just be, I don't know, where should I sit? I'll just sit in the coin toss. Why not? But yeah, either way, that was a... Whoops, sorry. But either way, that was a really big victory coming through from HLS. They were able to get the win in a really commanding fashion. They played well. They didn't make a lot of mistakes, and they had a lot of good teamfight prowess as well. But I will say, CCS had some moments of life. It's just that all those moments of life came after they already got put at a disadvantage. That last teamfight where they had the light bomb combo with the temporal loop, and it was timed perfectly with Hansel's Dragon Arrow as well, with Orion tossing that out. So I do think CCS, given a bit more time, can be a pretty strong team. I think once they manage to put everything together, should be a pretty good win. Hello, hello. Oh, yes, sure. Give me one moment. I need to restart Discord because Discord always gets... Oh, wait, no, that's not what it is.
Hey.
Hello, hello.
How's it going, Toki?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Starting the season 2-0. Gotta love that.
Yeah, and for everyone in the chat, I am joined here by Yes More Heroes and Peldor from HLS. And I gotta say, congratulations on your win. That was a very clean victory. You played fantastic. How do you feel?
Feel great, you know. It's we felt good going into the match. We had some good practices, but you know, matches are always their own animal, so it was good to go out there and execute really clean.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it's hard to think of questions because how much practice have you gotten into this? Because as a full squad, you looked very clean. You looked like you were played together for years at this point. And is that true, or is that just how it looks from the outside looking in?
Thanks, Toki. I mean, we're a pretty new group actually. Boomer and I have been playing together for a while, and Peldor joined us last season, but our tank Vern and our healer TJ Wombo are new to NGS. This is their first season in NGS, and they've just been killing it. It's been such a smooth transition with them. So definitely shout out to those two guys because they've made it really easy.
I'll definitely agree to that. Vern, especially, they're also in the call. They are Mutahorse and may not answer, just FYI. But the Garrosh picks have been looking so clean. And I will say, I'll apologize ahead of time if you do look at the replay. I did miss the solo kill onto Orion in the top side at the end, and I apologize for that. But the Garrosh, you've been positioning really well. You've managed to find basically every single rotation. Now, is that scouting, or is that just kind of practice from the Garrosh?
It's a little bit of both, actually. So I've played Heroes of the Storm for about 10 years now, and when Garrosh came out, I kind of just mained them. But yeah, it was a lot of scouting, but just trying to figure out where they were on the map too.
Yeah, and you were able to get so many pickoffs, especially during those transition plays. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really have too many questions. There's usually a lot of questions to be added when there's like a closer game, but I mean, you just played well. That's all I can really say here. Is there anything you'd like to say to all your fans out there, to all the HLS supporters? You're now 8 points top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, keep tuning in for a fun season of Div E. I think this is our third season in Div E, and I think this is the strongest the division has been since we've been here. I mean, I think all four of the top, the teams that are near the top are really evenly matched. I think it's gonna be a competitive season, and yeah, hopefully we can keep up the momentum from our hot start.
All right, Peldor, anything you want to add?
No, just thanks for casting us. You casted us week 1 and week 2, and it's very much appreciated.
Yeah, it just happened to work out that way. If anyone
Yeah,
tries to accuse me of bias, it's because you set your games early. I will always pick up the early cast and the late cast. So.
Well, yeah, CCS, there's credit for that one, but yeah, you're our official caster at this point, so we don't mind. It's great. You do a great job on the cast, so I'm gonna watch this one for sure later this week when I get a chance, just to see what it looked like from the outside. So
All
thanks,
right, and I appreciate
keep
that.
up the good work.
Oh, I definitely will. With that being said, I'm gonna have to say goodbye to all of you. Thank you for coming to this interview.
All right,
Thanks.
for
Thank
casting.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, hopefully see you again soon.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Now, with that, there's going to be a couple things happening, okay? So I do have another cast, but I believe it starts at 7:30. So in an hour, 7:30 Pacific. So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to go into the sponsored segment playing Matchmasters. If some of you want to hang around and watch that, go for it. If not, there are currently games happening over on Juggerob's channel for Division D, and Division A is being played over on Ohmsterifics. I'll link those in the chat if you want to go watch any of those other series, but be sure to come back for 7:30. Let me just grab those event clips. Oh, whoops. I almost clipped the wrong thing. There we go. Those are the two links there. I'm going to go on a very short break. Not even a break, actually. I'm just going to go straight into that. But yeah, if you want to watch some more NGS action, that's where to go. If you're okay just sitting around and watching a bit more, a little bit of Matchmasters, then definitely hang around and I will show you what is the beauty that is called Matchmasters. And need to change the game. Yeah, and also while I'm doing this, you can feel free to do full AMA. I usually am a little bit more casual.